So is the economic impact of the sequester really going to be that bad? What are congressional Republicans saying? Let's bring in Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger for more on this. Thanks for being with us, Congressman. So what do you think?
It's good to be here.
Is the impact being oversold here, exaggerated, or are we in for a rocky ride?
No, I think we're in some Washington hysteria a little bit here. You know, the reality is when it comes to the meat inspection, the Ag Committee actually has been having conversations with the USDA and has been informed that they don't expect any closures of any processing plants because they're actually going to be working the furloughs in a way that they can keep everything going. You know, look, the sequester's not the way we want to go about this, but this is really up to the president. He could drive 1.7 miles to have a conversation with Harry Reid about what they're going to do to avert this from happening. Instead, he's just pointing fingers at congressional Republicans who twice have voted for a replacement plan to do something about these. But absent the president's leadership, absent Harry Reid doing anything, we're not going to sit here and debate against ourselves. It's time for real leadership out of Washington, and we're not seeing that.
Now, President Obama has been warning us that women and poor children will go without being able to eat if we have these sequester cuts, yet he hasn't scheduled an emergency meeting at the White House until Friday. The cuts have to go, according to Congress, sometime on Friday. Is he taking this seriously enough?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, if you actually look, he's, I think, something like 5,000 miles on nrcc.org. You can see the video that we talk about this. He's flown 5,000 miles for campaign rallies, seemingly for a re-election that he already won. So I don't really understand where his quote-unquote leadership is coming in this. We want to avert this with real cuts that make sense. The president hasn't been a partner, and this law is going to go into effect without the president and Harry Reid having a discussion with us. They're unwilling to do it so far.
Search your soul, Congressman. Isn't there some part of every Republican in Congress that's kind of hoping we go for these sequester cuts because at least we start to bend the cost curve?
Well, we do have to reduce the cost of government because the next generation, and frankly ourselves, it's becoming current generation, is bearing the brunt of this out-of-control debt, and it's actually going to take away things like, food programs for women and children, which we care about. We just don't want them to go away because the government simply has no more money, and that's the track that we're going on unless we begin to rein in the out-of-control spending in Washington, because we literally have gone far beyond what we can do.
Let's talk about that out-of-control spending and the debt. Now, you met today, I believe it was, with young folks who are carrying an awfully big burden. You know, the debt I'm carrying as my portion of the government, it's only going to last for a little while longer till I die, but someone who's 20 years old is going to be carrying that debt a lot longer. The debt figures now are every citizen over $50,000, every taxpayer up to almost $150,000. Do these kids that you were meeting with today have any idea what you're talking about?
Oh, they absolutely do. The millennial generation, I'm a Gen Yer, I guess. The millennial generation is very engaged in, frankly, the fact that, we have $16.5 trillion in debt. And they're coming to grips with the fact that when they get out of college, when they get married and have families, they're now the ones that we're going to hand this out of control to. It was an amazing meeting today with the Republican conference and a group of us to listen to young people just to hear what they have to say. You see them on TV a lot talking about social issues, and that's understandable. It's something they're passionate about. But these young people are just as fired up about the debt. Sometimes it's a boring issue to talk about, so folks don't do it. But they get it. They understand that we're handing them this potentially a nation that's going to be worse off than the one we inherited and be the first generation to do that.
And yet, both parties in Congress, both of you guys, just keep spending and spending. Our federal debt has tripled since 2000. But our interest cost on the debt is the same, roughly, as it was in 2000, only $360 million, because the Fed has kept borrowing rates so low. Ultimately, does it turn out that you congressmen are utterly incapable of cutting, and you're going to cut only when the Fed starts raising interest rates, and suddenly our interest cost triples in a year?
Well, not me, but I'm hoping Washington's not to that point. We passed the Paul Ryan, the House Republican budget, which touched the third rail of politics, a discussion that Medicare is going bankrupt in 12 years. We have to save it for current seniors and make changes for younger people like myself in order to bend this cost curve not just down, but way down to get us to a balanced budget. We have to do that. If we don't talk about that quote-unquote third rail of politics, that's two-thirds of federal spending. That's what's growing every year. And unless we have an adult conversation, we're in trouble.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate your time. Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. Good day, sir.